Well, are you tired of your grocery store not stacking up and stocking up? A recent IBM survey of 6,000 consumers revealed a widespread dissatisfaction with their primary grocers. Joining us live with more on the survey, Fred Balboni of IBM. Fred, thanks for being here.
Thank you, Cheryl.
Fred, the first thing I heard about, or I thought about when my producers mentioned this story, was IBM and grocery stores. Connect that one for me real quick.
Well, you know, the retail industry and the supermarket business is something IBM really cares a lot about. You know, we've been in this business over 80 years. The modern barcode, invented by IBM, and the modern point of sale. So this is a business that really matters a lot to us.
Well, let's talk about your survey results then. So people really aren't very loyal to their grocery stores, and they're pretty unsatisfied from what you've discovered.
Yes, indeed. Actually, we found that 1 in 4 shoppers are actually loyal to their supermarket, which really means 3 out of 4 shoppers aren't really loyal.
Why do you think that is?
Well, every single supermarket has to really think about how they create loyalty. And we found that there were 4 things that drove loyalty. It was the quality, it was the range, it was the customer service, and it was the convenience of their supermarket.
So what do you tell the grocery stores out there? How can they do it better? Because obviously they want to stay in business like the next business does.
Well, the modern consumers definitely told us that if they're not loyal to something special, they're going to be loyal to price. And so therefore, every supermarket has to think about how they're going to have a selection that makes sense for their shopping clientele, or how they're going to work on their store experience to make it exciting and retain that shopper.
All right, so let's talk about some of the clever strategies out there, because some grocery stores are coming up with some gimmicks to make it look better, make it more appealing for folks.
Well, indeed. You know, what we found is that there were 5 supermarkets that actually had much greater loyalty than the rest of the pack. And what we found is that these 5 supermarkets were doing clever things, whether it was around empowering their local employees, or it was increasing the training, or it was involving the shoppers in a community to actually grow the loyalty.
Well, Fred, I want you to stay with us. I want to bring in our other experts here joining us once again with more on the supermarket sweep. Is James Lebenthal and Christopher Sayes is in Washington right now. Chris, I'm going to start with you. I know you got a family. Are you loyal to your grocery store, or is it just whoever gives you the best deal?
Thanks, Cheryl. I'll tell you, honestly, you know, as you mentioned, I got a family, I got 3 young kids. We're actually, we do go to the local supermarket, but the one that we're most loyal to is the one who's actually furthest away from us. It's a company called Wegmans that has a fantastic experience. You know, great private label brands, great prepared foods, everything's fresh, and it's a fantastic experience.
Well, as an investor, though, as a guy that plays the market, do you walk in there and think, oh, I would invest in this company, this is a good business?
You're absolutely, I mean, dead on. If Wegmans was a public company, I'd be all over it. It's not, so there are names, you know, to some extent, Safeway, Whole Foods, even Kroger's that I have to look at, which are more premium names that have some of the same characteristics as Wegmans, not 100%, but some of the same. And a far distant would be guys like Super Value, some of the discount supermarkets that they'll do well, but I don't think they will do as well.
Do you own any of those stocks you mentioned, Chris?
No, I don't. Although I will say, Cheryl, we are looking at them for 08.
Okay, all right. Jim, do you walk in with your stock market hat on and go, do I want to buy this? Do I want to buy this stock? Whole Foods, for example?
Well, let me put it to you like this. The first step in investing is to identify a great business. The second is to get the price of the share of that great business correct. In terms of identifying a great business, Whole Foods is absolutely a great business. The quality and the depth of selection, if you're looking for 50 types of mushrooms, Whole Foods is the place for you. So it's a great business. Unfortunately, the share price is pretty expensive. On the other hand, there is room down market in the wholesale club operators like Costco. The selection may not be that great, but the price is terrific, and there is definitely demand in that market segment. Costco, as it happens, is a great business, and I think the price is decent. Not great, but decent.
Jim, do you own any of the names that you mentioned?
I do own Costco.
You own Costco. Fred, let me ask you this. He brought up I say big box retailers, but you know the big stores, you know, the Costcos, the Sam's Clubs. How much effect in your research did those larger stores have on the chain stores?
I think there is definitely an effect there. And what we found is that if you look at both of those kind of retailers, they all still focus on the absolute basics, which is driving a real distinctive experience for the shopper to drive the loyalty and get a larger wallet share and larger basket size.
All right, real quick to James and Chris. James, do you buy grocery stocks in '08?
I do not. The Safeways and the Krogers of the world, I think, are caught in the middle between Whole Foods and Costco's. I do like Costco, as I already said. Whole Foods too expensive. In general, it's thin pickings in that market.
Chris?
If signs emerge, Cheryl, that we're going to go into a recession, then people still have to eat, so we'll definitely be looking at them.
And they still drink and smoke, but that's a whole other avenue of investing anyway.
Exactly.
All right.
Sin is in.
Yeah, Fred Balboni, James Lebenthal, Chris Versailles in Washington. Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Cheryl.